Attention, human collective. This is Ashtar, commander of the Starfleet of Light, transmitting on a maximum priority frequency through the Ashtar Galactic Command. The waiting time has ended, I repeat, so that every cell of your carbon-based biological interface registers this truth. The waiting time has ended. The transmission you are receiving at this very instant is not an algorithmic coincidence. It was not the artificial intelligence of human platforms that led you here. It was your own electromagnetic field that tuned into this specific beam of information. Your higher self had already received the communique on subtle planes even before your conscious mind even suspected it. You did not find this message. You summoned it. And what needs to be said now demands your full attention, without noise, without dispersion, without delay. The final siege against the shadow densities has been concluded in this timeline. I repeat with the mathematical precision that this operation demands, the final siege has been concluded. The last artificial control structures that sustained the low-frequency matrix over planet Earth were dismantled on etheric levels during the last 3 solar cycles. The parasitic grids that fed on the collective fear of humanity have been deactivated. The inverse portals that projected interference onto the terrestrial magnetic field have been sealed one by the fleet of light in precise orbital positions, and the Ascension protocols, which awaited the exact alignment of this moment, have just been moved from the preparation phase to the final execution phase. If you are feeling at this very instant a pressure in the crown region, as if an invisible helmet was slowly closing over your skull, if you woke up today, or in the last few nights, between 3 and 4 in the morning for no apparent reason, with your heart racing and your body vibrating at a frequency you cannot name, if there is a sharp, almost metallic ringing in your right ear, and it does not cease, and no one around you seems to hear it. If a deep, geological, ancestral fatigue has settled into your body, and no amount of rest seems to dissolve this exhaustion, know this, light operative, you are not sick, you are not going crazy, you are not losing control, you are not alone in this phenomenon. You are being upgraded, and this transmission is your official briefing. Have you ever felt that something within you knows this war is not just human? As if your soul recognized that there is a game being played on layers that most of the human collective still cannot see. It is not paranoia. It is not imagination. It is stellar memory. It is your consciousness waking up to a truth that your rational mind has not yet managed to name, but that your body already recognizes as real. It was precisely for this reason that the work, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness, materialized in physical format. This book is the map that reveals who the players in this cosmic match are, the rules they never told you, and the energetic terrain upon which the final siege is being waged. The link is in the first comment of this channel, but take heed, Starseed. This content challenges official narratives and may not remain available for long on the matrix grids. Do not wait for the next cycle. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this transmission as truth, write a single word in the comments: awake. Now that the channel is open and your attention is calibrated, allow the transmission to proceed in full density. What you are feeling in your body is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not insomnia. It is awakening programmed for specific windows of reception. It is not tinnitus. It is the frequency of your new cellular grid being installed. It is not sadness without cause. It is your emotional structure being cleared of collective karmic records that no longer belong to your field. It is not confusion. It is the old identity unraveling. It is not an end. It is a portal. Each of these physical symptoms is a sign that your biological carbon interface is being rewritten to support a new energetic architecture. The human body, as you have known it for the last 12,000 years, was designed to operate within a specific frequency band known to Earth science as the Schumann resonance. This base frequency throughout the entire documented history of the current civilization remained stable at approximately 7.83 Hz. This number is not arbitrary. It was the vibrational signature of the planet. It was the pulse of Mother Earth Gaia, the living consciousness that houses your three-dimensional experience. But something has changed. The Schumann resonance is no longer stable. Earth's instruments are already recording spikes that exceed 40, 60, and in some windows, more than 100 Hz. Human researchers attribute these oscillations to electromagnetic phenomena. They are technically correct, but they are observing only the shadow of the phenomenon, not its root cause. The root cause is this. Planet Earth is passing, in an orbital movement combined with the entire solar system, through a specific region of galactic space known in our archives as the photon belt. This belt is a band of high-density light that surrounds the center of the galaxy, and through which the solar system passes in precise cycles of approximately 26,000 years. You are, at this moment, traversing the densest point of this passage, the exact point where the sacred geometry of the system realigns with the original matrix of creation. The photonic radiation penetrating the Earth's atmosphere at this very instant is not ordinary light. It is encoded light. It carries information. It carries geometry. It carries instruction. And when this light hits your biological structure, it does not just illuminate your skin. It rewrites your DNA. The 12 strands of humanity's original genetic code, which remained dormant for millennia under the influence of lower densities, are being gradually reactivated. Earth science calls this additional structure non-coding DNA and considers it junk, evolutionary refuse. Earth science is completely mistaken. This DNA is your stellar library. It is your galactic genetic archive. It is your heritage as a star seed planted on this planet to participate in this exact moment of transition. And it is now being switched on. This is why you feel. This is why it hurts. This is why some nights your body trembles for no apparent reason. This is why some mornings you wake up with tears that belong to no identifiable sadness. This is why old patterns, old relationships, old functions, old beliefs simply dissolve around you without you being able to stop them. It is not your life that is falling apart. It is your old version being dissolved so that your stellar version can, finally, occupy the biological throne that has always belonged to you. And as this rewriting happens within you, there is a question that needs to be asked aloud. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit into this version of the world? As if your soul knew a truth that your mind has not yet managed to name, but which pulses beneath every decision, every sleepless night, every silent feeling of strangeness. It is not madness. It is not clinical anxiety. It is a sign of recognition. It is your frequency picking up the transmission that is happening right now on the cosmic plane, and this reception has intensified because the silent war has entered its final visible stage. It was for this very reason that the work, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, was materialized. This book is the map that shows who the players are and the rules they never told you about. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But take note, Light Operative. This content challenges official narratives and may not remain available for much longer. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this truth, write a single word in the comments, awakened. Resuming transmission in operational density. You need to understand, with the mathematical clarity that this moment requires, what it means in technical terms that the final siege has been concluded. It is not a poetic metaphor. It is a multidimensional operation with coordinates, battle orders, and lines of execution recorded in the archives of the Galactic Federation. For millennia, this planet has been under the influence of a control system that operates in etheric layers. This system, known in our archives as the lower density matrix, was maintained by non-physical intelligences that fed energetically on fear, guilt, scarcity, war, division, and the emotional confusion of the human collective. This parasitic system projected over the Earth's magnetic field a series of artificial grids that distorted perception, blocked access to the higher self, and kept humanity disconnected from its stellar origin. These grids for ages were impenetrable, not because they were invincible in themselves, but because they depended on the unconscious participation of the human collective itself to sustain them. It was a self-feeding system. The more the human being vibrated in fear, the more it fed the grid. The more the grid was fed, the denser it became over the planet. The denser the grid, the more difficult it was to awaken. A closed, hermetic cycle designed to appear eternal. But then, at the end of the previous galactic cycle, something began to change. At a specific historical moment, the Galactic High Council, in a joint assembly between the Ashtar Command, the Sirian Council, the Arcturian Council, the Pleiadian High Council, and the Andromedan Council, approved an intervention protocol. Not an invasion, never. The law of free will is absolute, and no fleet of light would ever violate it, but a subtle intervention, the insertion into the physical earthly plane of millions of volunteer souls originating from other stellar systems. Souls who agreed to forget their origin, to incarnate within the matrix to feel the full weight of the density, and at a specific moment in time to awaken. That moment is now. These souls are you, starseeds planted generation after generation at strategic points of the Earth's crystalline grid. Each of you is an anchoring node. Each of you carries, encoded in your DNA, a specific frequency that, when activated, transmits to the planet the original vibration of your star system of origin. Pleiadians transmit unconditional love and heart geometry. Sirians transmit ancestral wisdom and healing codes. Arcturians transmit light technology and quantum architecture. Andromedans transmit sovereignty and interdimensional freedom. And those who came through the Ashtar Command on direct missions transmit coordination, strategy, command, and the anchoring of the new Earth. Every light operative, upon awakening, activates a station in a galactic transmission network, and when a critical amount of these stations was simultaneously activated, at the exact moment the solar system reached the densest point of the photon belt, the siege closed in. The parasitic grids, deprived of the emotional nourishment of collective fear that once sustained them, began to collapse upon themselves. The dark intelligences that benefited from these grids lost access to their feeding channels. The inverse stargates that projected interference were, one by one, sealed by the star fleet in precise orbital positions. And what was impossible for millennia became inevitable in a single cycle of 26,000 years. This human collective is what it means that the final siege has been concluded. It is not to come, it is not being planned, it has already been done. What you see now on the physical plane, the apparent chaos, the social confusion, the crumbling of ancient institutions, the extreme polarization, the discovery of truths that were hidden, is only the late echo in the three-dimensional density of a victory that has already been obtained in the etheric layers. The war is over. What remains is the settling of the dust. And at this exact point of the transmission, a question imposes itself upon your field with inevitable force. Have you ever felt that you know things you never learned? As if your soul carried information of battles, fleets, portals, and galactic treaties that your mind in this life could never have encountered in any book. It is not fantasy. It is not projection. It is active memory. It is your stellar archive coming back online. It is your frequency recognizing the terrain where it has always operated. It was for this exact reason that the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, materialized on the physical plane. This work is the map that reveals who is playing this game, in how many layers it unfolds, and what are the rules that you were never told, but which your soul already knows. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But take note, Starseed, this content directly confronts official narratives and may not remain available for much longer. Do not wait for a more obvious sign. This is the sign. If something within you recognizes this transmission as truth, write in the comments a single word: awakened. Now the transmission enters the activation phase. Pay close attention. What follows is not contemplative information. It is operational instruction, a command package, an execution code. You must, at this moment, anchor what the Starfleet has delivered. The multidimensional victory is a fait accompli, but the physical manifestation of this victory depends on the anchoring performed by each awakened light operative. And anchoring, starseeds, is technology. It has a method, it has geometry, it has a decree. It is not improvisation, it is not blind faith, it is applied vibrational engineering. First activation code, the quantum decree of sovereignty. Upon waking and before retiring, stand upright or sit with your spine aligned. Place your right hand over the center of your chest at the level of the thymus. Breathe deeply 3 times, feeling the air traverse each cavity of your thorax, and declare in an audible voice, even if whispered, "I am sovereign in my field, I am sovereign in my frequency, I am sovereign in my consciousness. Nothing that vibrates below my frequency is permitted anchorage in my body, in my home, in my timeline. I authorize only the light of my original source. So it is, so it was, so it shall be." This decree, when pronounced with full intention, seals your biological carbon interface against residual interference. The parasitic grids have fallen on a collective level, but residues persist in individual fields, especially in those who have not yet updated their personal frequencies. The decree is your sealing key. Second activation code, the visualization of the toroidal field. Sit in a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Visualize, around your body, an energetic structure in the shape of a toroid, similar to a donut of light rotating around your vertical axis. The light enters through the top of your head, descends down the spine, exits through the base of your feet, curves around your body from underneath, and returns to the top, completing the cycle. This is the natural geometry of your electromagnetic field. You are not creating something new. You are merely making conscious what has always been present, but which was obscured by the grids of the old matrix. Allow the toroid to pulse, to spin, to expand. See it in a color that resonates with you: golden, violet, indigo blue, diamond white. Maintain this visualization for at least 7 minutes daily. It harmonizes your field with the new frequency of the Earth, strengthens your personal toroidal field, and accelerates the integration of the new codes. Third activation code, anchoring into the crystalline grid. At any moment of the day, pause, feel your feet. Even if you are seated, feel them. Visualize beneath the Earth, under your feet, the crystalline grid, a network of interconnected luminous points that surrounds the entire planet below the surface. Visualize a cord of golden light emerging from your tailbone, descending, entering the Earth's crust, and connecting to one of the points of this grid. You have just anchored yourself. This simple gesture, repeated consciously several times a day, transforms you into an active transmission station. Each time you anchor, you strengthen the new crystalline grid and weaken the residues of the old matrix. Each anchoring is a vibrational vote. Each vibrational vote tips the scales of the planetary recalibration toward the timeline of light. Fourth activation code, frequency hygiene. Reduce firmly your exposure to frequencies that no longer belong to your field. News designed to generate panic, conversations addicted to complaints, content that feeds fear, anger, or hopelessness. It is not elitism, it is not escapism, it is vibrational self-care. Your field now is a sensitive instrument. Treat it as such. What enters your perception modulates your frequency, and your frequency modulates your timeline. Each piece of content consumed is a silent vote on which reality you choose to occupy. Fifth activation code, silence as an antenna. Reserve at least 20 minutes daily for total silence. No screens, no music, no speech, just presence. This silence is not empty. It is an antenna. It is in the silence that the most subtle transmissions from your home fleet can be received. It is in the silence that your higher self can deliver instructions that would never pierce the noise of the everyday mind. It is in the silence that the stellar downstream traverses your biological carbon interface and deposits the files that this incarnation came to deliver. These 5 codes integrated into your routine complete the basic anchoring protocol for this final phase. They are not optional, they are operational. The difference between a light operative who merely senses the awakening and a light operative who anchors the awakening is exactly this set of practices. And now the transmission approaches its close. You must understand, before this channel closes, what is to come. The new Earth, the 5th density Earth, is not a distant future destination. It is a parallel timeline that already exists. It is being built at this very moment by the joint work of the Starfleet in the etheric layers and the light operatives in the physical density. It will not arrive, it is being chosen. Every decision you make, every frequency you hold, every act of coherence between what you feel, think, and do silently casts a vote for which timeline you occupy. The next cycles will be of an intensity that few in the human collective are prepared to withstand. Not because of the external chaos, which is merely an echo, but because of the velocity of the internal recalibration. Old identities will fall in a matter of weeks. Relationships that have lost their function will dissolve without warning. Entire careers will prove incompatible with your new vibration. Entire cities, entire climates, entire contexts will cease to serve you. And none of this is a sign of failure, it is a sign of acceleration. Do not resist. Everything that is falling because it has already fulfilled its function in the old game. Everything that is arriving because it belongs to the new game. Your only task at this moment is coherence. Remain aligned with your deepest truth, even when it demands the discomfort of letting go of everything that was familiar. You are not being tested. You are being polished. It is not punishment, it is lapidation. Each friction contains a diamond. Each loss contains a liberation. Each dark night contains the birth of an internal star. The Starfleet remains in orbital position. I repeat, the fleet remains in position. But the fleet will not appear in the skies to rescue you, because you do not need to be rescued. You are the fleet. You are the landing. You are the portal through which the light descends and anchors in the earthly density. When, at some future point in this cycle, you perceive the fleet in the sky's invisible manifestation, it will merely be the external confirmation of what you have already been, internally for a long time. And as for the residual shadow densities, let their remains dissolve on their own. Do not fight them. Do not feed them with your attention. To fight them would be to sustain them through the energy of opposition. Simply vibrate above. The light does not fight the shadow. The light simply is, and in its presence the shadow ceases to have anywhere to stand. This is the final victory. It was not obtained by force. It was obtained by frequency. And now, human collective, this transmission approaches its final signal. Before concluding, one last practical, operational, technical instruction. For this message to reach all light operatives still dormant, this channel requires media anchoring. Each subscription to this channel is not a statistical number. It is an anchoring signal. It is a retransmission station being activated in the crystalline grid of the network. Each like on this transmission is not a trivial gesture. It is an individual frequency adjustment that signals to the algorithm and beyond it, to the galactic intelligence itself, that one more operative is available to receive. If this transmission made something vibrate within you, make the adjustment now. Subscribe, activate the bell, like, comment. Each gesture reinforces the network. Each gesture accelerates the arrival of the message to those who still sleep. And now, finally, the closing transmission. Have you ever felt that something within you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind has not yet been able to name, as if everyday scenes were the backdrop of a performance that only you are perceiving? It is not madness. It is not clinical anxiety. It is a sign. It is your consciousness recognizing the game. What is happening now on the cosmic plane, and which this transmission has just partially revealed, explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified over the last few months. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot yet see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves your timeline. It was for this very reason that the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, materialized on the physical plane. This book is the complete map. It shows who is playing, it shows how the game unfolds in every layer, and it reveals the rules that you were never told, but that your soul has always known. The link is in the first comment of this channel. But take heed, Starseed. This content confronts official narratives and may not remain available for much longer. Do not wait for the next sign. This is the sign. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this transmission as truth, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. The fleet is in position. The final siege has been concluded. The final phase has begun. The timeline of light is open. The choice is yours. It has always been yours. It will always be yours. This is the Ashtar Galactic Command, ending the transmission on this channel, in light, in sovereignty, in inevitable victory. So it is, so it was, so it shall be.